Do you use Google Calendar at home or at work and feel like you're not really using it to the fullest? Well, don't worry. At Google, I use Google Calendar every single day without fail. And so I've gathered a few different tips, tricks, features and ideas that I'd like to share with you on how to really use Google Calendar to the fullest. And particularly in this video, we're going to focus on how to create and manage events in the best and most optimal way possible. So we're going to cover shortcuts, add-ons, ownership, appointment slots, time zones, and even customizable notifications. Let's start out with the ultimate productivity hack, shortcuts. And if you use a Mac or PC, you're probably used to a number of different keyboard shortcuts that you can do on those devices. But did you know that on Google Calendar, you can also use shortcuts too? First of all, what you need to do is go into the settings of Google Calendar and just make sure that shortcuts is enabled. Once it's enabled, you can use all of the different shortcuts that are possible. And there's 3 keyboard shortcuts that I would recommend using straight away. The first one is C. If you literally just press C on your keyboard, it will create a new Google Calendar event. Next up, we've got E, which allows you to edit a calendar event. And finally, the third shortcut that I would definitely recommend is W. And what W does is it allows you to view like a week view at one go, so you can see everything that's going on within the week. And here are a few more shortcuts that you can use in Google Calendar as well. And one of my favorite shortcuts isn't actually a keyboard shortcut at all. It's an easy way to be able to create a new calendar event or a new Google Doc or a new Google slide or a new Google sheet. And effectively what you do is you go to the URL or the search bar at the top of your browser and you would put in cal.new, which allows you to create a new Google Calendar event, docs.new, which allows you to create a new Google Doc, sheets.new, which allows you to create a new Google Sheet, and finally slides.new, which allows you to create a new Google Slide. So let's talk add-ons, and there's 3 add-ons that I would definitely recommend getting to grips with. And I feel like not that many people know that you can install hundreds, if not thousands of different add-ons into your Google Calendar or onto your Google Workspace, and these add-ons will allow you to do a number of different things. And the first of those is Zoom. And if you don't know what Zoom is, then where have you been in the past year? But effectively what the Zoom add-on allows you to do is integrate a Zoom button directly onto your Google Calendar. So if you create a new event, it will automatically add a Zoom invite or like a Zoom call onto your Google Calendar. So if you didn't want to use Google Meet for whatever reason, then you can use Zoom instead. And the second app that I would recommend is called IFT, and it stands for if this then that. And what IFT allows you to do is create like a set of instructions or a set of rules, like an automation. And you can create this automation for various different things. So for example, you could do something location based, so that every time you visit London, a recurring event gets triggered or a recurring event gets created, which could be quite useful. So there's someone I know, for example, who every time they go to London have an event trigger just to remind them to top up their Oyster card. So you could use it for something like that if you've not moved on to Apple Pay or contactless, but that's just an example of something where you could set up an automation, a set of instructions, and an event would get created or a recurring event would get created, and various different things when you set up this IFT automation. Tons you can do there. So the next app or add-on that I would take a look at is actually built right into the Google Calendar app. And if you have a look on the Google Calendar app and you click on the plus button, you may see that there is actually a section within the app called Goal. And this is something I had no idea about at all. But built right into Google Calendar, you can actually schedule sessions that will automatically be created to allow you to hit your goals. So for example, myself, I know that I need to get back on the exercise hype, and so I could go ahead and basically choose, okay, that I want to work out. How many times do I want to work out? Well, considering I haven't worked out in a long time, I should probably go 5 times a week. For how long? About an hour, let's say. What kind of times? Usually I'll probably try and go in the mornings. You can connect it to a health app, which is awesome. So you can create the goal schedule, and it will basically create 5 different sessions a week for 1 hour every single morning to allow me to help hit my goals. You can then tick the X It will then find the different time within your existing calendar to hit the goal. So anything you've got in your calendar, then it adjusts around that. It learns your preferences. It figures out when's the best time. And so, for example, here, it's saying that the first session for me should be at tomorrow at 8 a.m. And you can even like adjust it. You can say that looks fine. I'll just say it looks fine. And then you can see like it's added a flag. This is on Wednesday, the 11th of August. And you can see like, look, it even adds things like how many times I've hit the goal, how often I'm doing it. If I want to track it with like Google Fit or Apple Fitness, you can sync it all up. So this is like such an awesome goal tracking feature built right into Calendar that is like a built-in add-on that I had no idea that existed, and saves you having to pay for a different goal tracking app or something else. If you're using Calendar, it's built right in. And another add-on that I would recommend is Notion. So I use Notion to manage all of the different content schedule for this YouTube channel. You can actually attach your Notion notes onto the Google Calendar event. So for example, if you have like a regular recurring meeting and everything you do is in Notion, you can install the Notion add-on and effectively attach the meeting minutes from that Notion to the Google Calendar. So the third tip, and something that I've used a few times, particularly when I'm managing an event with multiple people involved, is that you can actually change the ownership of an event. So if I, for example, create an event for a meeting or a conference or after dinner drinks or something like that, but I myself can't actually attend the event anymore, or maybe I'm no longer part of that meeting or I've moved teams, you can actually change the ownership of an event, which means that the person who's taking over from you doesn't need to delete that, re-inform everyone, create a new event, etc. You can actually change the ownership of the event from myself to someone else, which means they own that individual event, and going forward they can make changes, they can update the information, location, etc. So really, really nifty little tip. The fourth thing that I found out about Google Calendar that is really useful is that if you are using Calendly or a similar service to create an appointment slot or something like that, you can actually use Google Calendar for this. So you don't need to pay for Calendly, you don't need to pay for another tool. You can actually use Google Calendar to create appointment slots on your calendar that works, in my opinion, in a very, very similar way to a service like Calendly. So how it works is you go on your own Google Calendar and you can create like a block of time with which you open up for appointment slots. And all it is just an event type. So you go to create an event, you just choose it as appointment from the kind of different menu, and it will open up different appointment slots. So for example, if you are someone that maybe does office hours within your team, or you have say an hour a day or 2 hours a day which you block out for meetings to people to book time with you, you can create that appointment slot block, and then you can share a link to your calendar externally that doesn't have to be within the company. And so if someone outside of the business or someone inside the business wants to book time on your calendar at a time that you choose that is like actually going to work for you, then you literally create those appointment slots, add it onto your calendar, and people can then book the time. It's actually a super nifty feature. It saved me having to pay for an external third-party tool, and is actually just good in helping me manage my time and my calendar. So definitely a useful one, that. Oh, and it also saves that kind of really annoying back and forth of like, can you do 3 p.m? No, I can't. Can you do 2 p.m? What about 2:30? Oh, sorry, I've got another meeting at that time. Like, because you decide the times in which you're available, then that person can just book that slot when it's convenient for them. So it's definitely useful for that. If you have an assistant, it's probably even more easier as well for them. And with these appointment slots, you can even give amendment access to the person who books that appointment in your calendar. So maybe something happens at work, maybe their dog ate their homework, or whatever it may be.
You ate my homework?
They can effectively change the appointment slot time. They can change the date, location, if you want to give them those rights, which means if they need to cancel or they need to rearrange, they can do that automatically, and it will still fit within your schedule that you dictate on your calendar. So I've done that many, many times where I'll create the appointment slot block, I'll give editor access to the person who creates the slot, and then if they need to change the meeting, they can do, and we don't need to have any like backwards or forwards or any kind of like chat or discussion. So it just reduces a little bit of friction and means that people's time is not spent like messaging each other, when can we do the meetings, just makes it a little bit more seamless. So the next hack is all about time zones. And if you've been working remotely over the course of the pandemic, or your team is just naturally international and spread remotely anyway, then time zones is something that you're going to have to take into account of whether you like it or not. So what you can do on Google Calendar is, if you go into settings and under world clock, you can add the different time zones that your team work in. So for example, if you work in America and you have some folks based in the UK, you can add both time zones onto your calendar. And so what that means is, if you are based in the UK and you're trying to schedule a call with your New York counterparts, and you say book in a time at like 2 p.m, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you will then be able to see that that is morning for people who are in New York. And it will actually show you on the left, even if you create a calendar event at a different time, the time zones that you add on the left side of your calendar will automatically update, so you'll get a good understanding of what the time is in those time zones before you create the event, and save yourself a little bit of embarrassment by, creating an event when it's actually 3 a.m. in the morning some person's time, just because that's convenient to you at like 4 p.m. So it's a really, really good feature for working collaboratively with people in all different time zones and across the world, particularly if your team is now working remotely. So the last feature or tip that I would recommend is customizing the reminder or notifications for events. Now, this could be useful in a variety of different ways, but I think the standard notification is 10 minutes before the event starts. But you could change this to however long you want. You could add multiple notifications, you could add email notifications as well as app notifications. So I think a use case of this that I've seen people use before is, you can go in and edit the notification or reminder settings, and if you have like an important meeting or something that people need to prepare for in advance, you could have like a 1-day notification or 1-day reminder, just so that people then come prepared for the meeting. Or you could even customize the reminder from 10 minutes to half an hour or an hour, depending upon how you structure your meetings within your teams. And also, one further little tip on this is, if you want to actually customize the event itself, you can also do this thing called speedy meetings, which is basically where Google Calendar shaves off like 5 or 10 minutes off the end of your meeting time, which means that not only will people come to the event and be reminded when it is, you can actually shave off 5 or 10 minutes just so people can then get to one meeting to another on time, and also make sure that people don't really get too burned out and actually have time between meetings to get a cup of coffee or go for a comfort break or something like that. So super fan of that from a well-being perspective too. So that's 6 things that I've learned since working at Google in terms of how to create and manage different events in Google Calendar super efficiently. If you found this video helpful, do give it a thumbs up, and also let me know in the comments below if you've got any tips or any other ideas on how to use Google Calendar more efficiently. Let me know. Super curious and super interested to hear from you. Otherwise, thanks for watching and have a great day.